What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, we are going to take a look at the BMW M5 CS Rivals Edition. This is going to be a pretty crazy looking BMW, and I feel like people are going to want this thing. Also, nothing like seeing people take photos of different gas stations and all that because the game looks so dang beautiful. Can we also agree the new NSX is actually really nice? But if you guys are wondering how to get this car, it's actually going to be fairly simple. And I would say it's probably going to be insanely unique. Now, I could probably guess that many people are going to be like, well, like, it looks kind of cool, I guess, but I also feel like players are not going to like it. Now, you also can't customize this thing, which if you're going to want to do that, you can actually get the car on Wednesday if you didn't get the Year 2 pass, though, which is going to be the regular M5, but this one is going to be free for everybody if you actually do the rivals in the menu, which I'll show that here in a second. But I do feel like the looks of this car are probably going to be subjective. You can't change anything on this, so you pretty much have to leave it just like this. The rims, the insane livery on it. Luckily, the car is actually going to be reflective at nighttime, which is pretty dope. I'll show you guys that here in a second. But overall, though, I do feel like players are going to like this car, then I also feel like people will not. Probably not really going to be much in between there, but if you guys did want to get this car, though, all you will simply have to do is my game is freezing. I am having a few issues in the menu. There we go. Anybody else having issues, by the way, in the menu after the update? I feel like I'm not the only one there. But if you head over to Rivals, though, you guys will have to head over to the Diamond Fangs. All you will have to do to get the M5, simply be all four of these rivals here, and then fight the final one, which is actually pretty simple. I would say a lot of people are probably going to get this car fairly easily. And if you were actually looking like what is the fastest way to do it, guys, throw on the difficulty on level 1. You will fly through these races so dang quick. But nonetheless, though, let's go drive the M5 right now and see how this car actually is and how this thing does handle. Let me see the interior in this thing. Have not had a chance to drive the other one. Man, look at the CS. Look at the carbon fiber in there. This car is beautiful, man. You know, I haven't really been the biggest fan of BMWs in like recent years, but I would say as time goes on, I'm really starting to like them. I really do like the new M3. I think the new M4 is pretty dope. I do know people aren't the biggest fan of like the grills on them and all that. Like, serious question, guys. Do you like the new BMW design, which I think is the G80, if I'm right on that? Or do you actually like the design of this BMW? I'm not too familiar with the generations of these. Let me know in the comments below on that. But overall, I do feel like for a car that's going to be free for everybody, this thing is actually pretty sweet. I am going to do a top speed run on this thing. Hopefully this road will work. How many gears? This is an 8-speed, bro. That's kind of interesting. Now, here's the thing. I'll talk about the reason why I'm not the biggest fan of 8 speeds in a minute. If you are running manual, it's not terrible, but I do feel like it's not going to be all that great. Oh, here we go. Okay, so 242 miles an hour for a top speed there. I would say is probably fairly average. I was noticing people going, yo, these new cars are really quick, man. Like, they're going to be faster than some of the current cars in the game. The thing is, haven't really noticed that, though. I think they're actually fairly average unless you add, like, a slipstream perk to it or something. I would say these cars are probably going to be, well, kind of normal when it does come to their speed, at least for the most part. Now, as I did mention earlier, though, these liveries are going to be pretty much reactive in a way. Let me show that here quick, heading into photo mode. Let me change this over to, I'll go midday, move it all the way this way here. So you guys can check it out. So you'll see how bright this is in midday. I'll also show nighttime with it, but check this out though. Look how dope the livery looks when it's like kind of nighttime out. I really do like the fact that it's actually like a reactive type of livery. Can you all imagine for a second being able to make liveries that do this? That would be crazy, man. Now, I do understand the livery maker in this game probably needs a lot of work, but imagine for a second being able to make something like this for every single car. Would honestly be pretty crazy. Let me move this over now to dusk here. So check this out, guys, at nighttime at dusk. Look at this. It's super bright. Really can't miss it. You also see like the underglow being two different colors, orange and then blue there. I think goes like around it. Yeah, it goes like around it. Gonna see the camo basically super bright. I always call it a camo because of Grand Theft Auto. Not really sure, but this is going to be a pretty crazy looking livery. You see the crazy tiger thing right there, which looks really cool actually. But overall, I do feel like people are probably going to like this. But again, I do think some of it is selective though. Some players might want just a regular M5 that's actually not going to have a crazy looking livery on it, where they can actually customize the car the way they want and then, you know, drive it that way instead of having some crazy thing they can't even take off of it. But then again, this is going to be a special edition of the M5. So I was actually thinking though, for the event on the M5, why don't I actually race one of the other rivals here and see how the car does do in like a 1v1. Now, the first thing I should probably do though is put my difficulty on level 5 to make this a bit more interesting. How about we actually race the Alfa Romeo maybe? Let's do that one. So let's head over to it. Let's do that. Let's fast travel to it. One thing I really liked about this is the fact that once you actually beat the rivals, you can then spawn over to any of the areas and then actually race them. Now I have to find where he's located at. Let me spawn and hit the map because I don't know where he is at. Dude's all the way over there, bro. That's kind of far. That's kind of far. Let me, I forgot I could just use the helicopter and go on over there. Let's do that. Anyway, if anyone else tried the helicopter, I know it's the exact same one from the Crew 2, but still pretty funny to finally see this thing in Motorfest. I mean, it's not going to be the quickest thing out there, but at least we finally have the helicopter. Let me see. Where is this dude at, bro? I don't understand how they're, like, all over the place. Dang, he's all over there. You know, maybe I shouldn't have used the helicopter. This thing is really slow. My goodness. Not show up on my map yet. There's Shade. What's cool about this, though, get over to him, engage it, and then I can start the race. I don't have to, like, drive up to him. I've actually not done one of these on level 5 because I was so focused on getting the events done before, trying to fly through it for, like, the challenge guide and all that, that I didn't really try it out. But let's do it right now with the BMW and see how this thing does perform. Funny part is, one of the biggest reasons why I did actually want to do one of the rival events is because every single race is completely random, which I think makes it a bit more fun. Like, yeah, I do know there's probably only a limited amount of races it can do, or maybe it's going to be completely random forever. Either way, at least you could do a bunch of different races and test cars out and see how they do handle in, like, different environments and stuff. And you also have another racer in there that, okay, well, that is also why you never look behind you when you're driving, man. Really big tip there if anyone's driving. Probably don't want to look behind you because you can't see what's in front of you. You know, that could also be a good tip for life, but let's see right now what this car can do. Let me speed it up a bit. I probably won't have any issues catching Shade, because I do know even on level 5 you can normally catch most of the AI fairly easy. So this thing is also going to be base pro settings, by the way. I have not changed anything on it. As y'all know, with a lot of the summits recently, I do not do pro settings anymore, so I've been testing cars out in it. Turns out I feel like a lot of cars are a lot better than we think they are. They actually handle well. Like, sure, there's probably not going to be absolutely, like, fine-tuned or perfect and stuff like that being stock, but you can still easily run a car even if it's not going to be perfect. I feel like they're still usable. As I mentioned, you're probably not going to be breaking records with that vehicle, but hey, at least you can still do the events with it and still max out and all that good stuff. At least it's still going to be a win. Now, one thing I do like about the M5, though, is this car handles very nicely. I would say this thing is different because it has a body kit on it compared to something like the regular M5, but that probably makes it a bit more unique with the crazy everything going on with this car for that matter. I mean, I feel like a lot of players might look at this car and go, you know, I don't really like this thing. I'd rather have my own one or something. Rather be able to have my own color on it, be able to change stuff on the car. Like, I don't like those rims. Body kit doesn't look right. You know, I can understand that stuff, but again, I do get how this car is going to be a special edition, quote-unquote, so it kind of makes sense. At least the brakes work pretty well. I have noticed on certain cars the brakes legit do not work half the time, which is kind of annoying, but at least the brakes on this car do work. Now, I'm not saying it's, oh no, I'm going to miss the turn. I'm going to have to back on track on that one. That was unfortunate. I do that sometimes with these races because I'm so used to, like, specific paths on the other one. I've done them so many times that when I do the random events, I'm like, oh, I have to go left or right there. Good to know. And I have Shade right behind me with one little mess up. Good to know on level 5 that you can't really be messing up that much, so the AI are right with you. But as I was saying, though, about the manual, so if you guys are running manual and you are using something like an 8-speed, it's probably going to be a tad... Look, I did it again. I did it again. I'm so used to going fast in certain places, I just completely missed a turn. Do not worry, though. We have 3 miles to reach that and actually win. I'll catch up to Shade here in a second, I would probably say. But for me, though, using like an 8-speed, I would say is going to be a bit harder than running a 6-speed. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible or, you know, it's going to be like the hardest thing to do, but if you're used to using some of your favorite cars being a 6-speed or even a 7-speed, running something like an 8-speed is probably going to be a tad different than something like that. Oh, brakes, help! Okay, my brakes kind of worked that time. Not that great, but they kind of work. Nope, I'm blocking you, dude. They don't call me block for no reason. Am I right? Am I right? Terrible joke. Yeah, get upset. That's right, dude. But I would say a lot of people when jumping into something like this, and if you guys are running manual, which I would say most players might not be running manual, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys actually run manual in this game? I feel like most people use automatic, but I honestly don't know. I just think that would probably be, I mean, I'm not saying one's better than the other. We can argue that manual is probably better. I could jump into that in like a separate video. But I just feel like a lot of people probably just want to play and chill, which I completely understand. So my final conclusion of the M5 CS Rivals Edition is for one at nighttime, guys are going to have a pretty cool looking light show on it. Not going to say everybody's going to like it because I feel like not everybody will, but hey, at least it does have it. And it's also going to be a pretty dope looking M5 that is going to be pretty easy to get it. Most players are probably going to be collecting the Rivals cars fairly easily, so I would say if you guys do have this car, try this thing out. Let me know your thoughts on this thing in the comments below. Would I actually pick this car over the regular one? Well, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure yet. I would probably say both cars are probably going to be good in certain aspects, and then of course I have noticed every car seems to struggle in certain areas.